UNICAL Radio International, Entertainment 360, Edutainment 360, Infotainment 360. We smile like that.
Welcome to the Parley at the UNICAL Global Town Hall. We are 103.5 FM UNICAL Radio International. We are also accessible via our dedicated online radio platform, YPP.org/UNICAL Radio. Several online radio platforms, example Radio Garden, our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at UNICAL Radio. I'm your host, Michelle Ifyum, and our guest today is no other person but Honorable Joseph Coco Bassey, the YPP gubernatorial candidate for the state. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and how do you do?
Fine.
I just have some little corrections. I'm not honoring you.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Joseph Coco Bassey.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that. So once again, I welcome you all to the Radio Global Town Hall Political Parley. Let's get to the business of the day. So we would like to meet you and get to know you and know some basic information about yourself.
Like I said, my name is Joseph Coco Bassey. I hail from one municipality in Portugal State. I don't know why I go through my basic background. I went to Akuno School in Calabar municipality, proceeded to National Consultant Seminary in Council, and somewhere moved to Oakwood Training Institution where I had my SSC, proceeded to the University of Calabar, this very law, I did the diploma program in YPP, and then first degree in industrial and legal studies in the Faculty of Education. I proceeded to for my NYC in Kaduna State. And midway, as I was coming back to Question State after my NYC, I had an employment in the National Electoral Commission, which I worked with for about 17 years. Yeah, 17 years. And I left that as an assistant director and head of election management and the Question State in April 2022. Today, I decided to venture into politics because I think I have passion for service to my people. I've been an old thing around my upbringing. I involved myself in so much that I think we're going to talk about that.
Okay, so you've given us a basic info. I don't think you spoke about your corporate social responsibility.
Corporate social responsibility, basically, in what perspective you're talking about?
You've mentioned some places you said, like the INEC. So you should have performed some corporate social responsibilities while serving there.
Well, when I was in INEC, I think my basic responsibility to be able to give our people the best out of the electioneering process. I have served in INEC as an assistant electoral officer. I was indicated to be an electoral officer before I was moved to the head of election management in Washington State. And I strongly think that my basic contributions had always been having a fair and good system where people could come and contest elections and have the best of the people. Though I tried as much as possible to see that I could use the job I had to encourage young people. Like when I ascended the position of election manager in Washington State in 2022, I had an opportunity of managing just one election, which was the Alaoboja Federal Constituency by elections and Apabulu by election, which was held in the very last year. What I think I was able to use that opportunity to do was to give young people opportunities to come and serve. Young students who were on vacation, because remember at that time students were off campus, and some of them were learning around, they looking for what to do, and some got themselves involved in things that they shouldn't have done. So I had to take that opportunity to say I had to give a clear call to students. I had to contact presidents of faculties, presidents of faculty organizations, which are very close to me to this very day, and I had to involve them in mobilizing students. And then I decided not to look at what the politicians would always offer. You would always come with some gratification to make you give them normal politicians to come and do the hard job. But I think I had done that now. Because I strongly think that the student needed the money, the little 13 to 15,000 naira. They needed it more than they were that. So I had to mobilize them and I asked them to come out, which they did en masse. Seriously, I was very proud of them that they could leave luring and playing around to come and do something they could end the evening. Some of them would have bought the trousers or a shirt out of that money. I think it has reduced the problem to their parents.
Okay, thank you very much. Still on that, what's your corporate philosophy?
Well, my corporate philosophy as a person is always trying to make things happen and trying to see how to raise people out of their doldrums and get them involved in things that will keep them on. Because, you know, the society today is something that is an embodiment of everybody. And when we look at the society and then we decide to keep some people out of what they're supposed to get, we have our crisis. The crisis we are having today is because some people have drifted from doing their corporate responsibility, trying to see how they could aid young people to gain themselves employed. Sometimes not by government, by self-employment. I strongly think that in a few years, the public service had helped me to see how I can be able to establish some young people in trades to choose for themselves, because so many had come to me and said, look, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm asking, what cost does it take to be able to do that? Go and do a cost analysis and let me have what you think you can do. And I want to say that it is things you can, provable and verifiable evidence that I have been able to set up nothing less than 5 to 7 young people in trades of their own choice. And it isn't trades that cost so much, trades that I could be able to assist with my little salary. I'm able to help you with 30, 50,000, you could be able to set up like the gas filling, small gas filling stations. So it doesn't cost anything to get it. One cylinder, one hose, one filling head, and one scale. It is done. So I think I've been able to assist like 5 to 7 persons to establish that. And today, some of them have employed somebody. So I think it helps reduce the unemployment in society.
Okay, I think you didn't get my question.
Okay.
When I said corporate philosophy, I was talking about your basic vision, missions, and what you
well, when you look at the vision I hold the vision where we can make the society better than what we think it is today. The vision is trying to see that we can have the people who can stand up for themselves and can defend themselves at every time. Because that's one of the things that had propelled me out of my day job. That I could be able to come out and say, look, the vision I have is to be able to build young people and make young people stand up for themselves.
Okay, so you're running for the governorship office. Okay, so do you think you're the best for this office?
Well, naturally, everybody will always say you're the best. But I strongly believe that I am part of the best. I wouldn't talk down on eventually anybody, but I think that excellence will always speak for itself. Because when we're talking about people contesting the office of governor, we're looking at people that have the passion for their people that have the idea of what they want to do to affect the people that know how the state itself is and how the people have lived before now. I think you would say I'm one of the best, if not the best.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's go on a brief musical break. And once we're back from this break, we'll be asking you more questions like, what are the problems you've identified in this case while trying to stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back to that quick musical break. We're still 103.5 UNICAL Radio International, your number one age group infotainment radio station in the city of Calabar. And before we went on that brief break, we were discussing about the political party in UNICAL Radio Global Town Hall. And we have said that we're going to be discussing what are the problems we should identify in the state as a gubernatorial candidate.
Well, the question state has diverged from what I used to know it to be about a year. There are so many problems that my party and I have decided to put our legs right next out to see how we can start them. First, it begins with human capital development. You look at people, what people suffer, young people graduate from universities, come out of school. There are some that don't even actually go to school, and they don't have those to do. I strongly believe that this is one of the major problems in society is facing. We surely need to make people have what they have to do. Two, because this has been the problem, it had also increased the level of insecurity in Washington. And that level of insecurity in Washington State because ordinary citizens alone in affairs virtually identical. So we need to also tackle the security problem in Washington State. Then when we look at the so today, Washington State, I was saying as one of the best states in the environmental situation, we have reduced to legal. So I strongly think we have to look at these. And when we are able to develop the state, develop people, I'm sure we will be able to make everything more properly. So I have to look at those very strategic words. But when you look at our footprint, it goes through. If you look at the public sector, public service has been bastardsized. We just going to discover that in 14 or 13 civil servants will become the government secretary. When you have 16, how do you have 15 and the rest of the public service? So we need to put the public service, which is the heartbeat of the government in the state. So I think there are so many things we need to think about as far as Washington State is concerned.
Okay, so in this case, is it a problem, a dilemma, or catastrophe?
Well, I wouldn't want to look at it from one perspective. It is a problem. It is a dilemma, and it is very catastrophic to have affected Washington State. When we look at it, it manifests from the problem to be a catastrophe. So I think it is just the three words we use when we find what we're facing in Washington.
Okay. So what are your agendas to help fix this issue?
Well, the agenda we are looking at in the Young Progressive Party, we look at it, the party is called Young Progressive Party. So, usefulness doesn't mean the thing that ends with it. Usefulness means the mindset, and it ends with the mindset, not the age, basically. And I strongly think that we have got all the modalities to be able to fix it. Fixing this is we need to look at it point by point. How do you fix job and youth unemployment? And for some of us, we decided to sit back and given ourselves the time phase. And we have decided that we will, at most, in 6 months, we will fix 2,000 young people. Fixing them, we don't want to create public service jobs. We're not looking at public service jobs. Because public service jobs, as it is, I tell people that do public service jobs are slaves to time and date. Slaves to time that you wake up and you wake up at a particular time, and slave to date that you start looking at the dates to get your salary. But when you get people independently and all, then I think that you'll be able to tell yourself and determine to yourself how much you want to make in every given day. We want to fix that because that is basically the heartbeat of the problem in Washington.
Okay, so let me come in there. You said in 6 months you want to fix 10,000 people.
2,000 persons.
2,000
young persons. Then in 1 year, the 2,000 will replicate to 50,000. So you find each of them.
Okay. So, but you said no public service jobs. So are you planning to eliminate most of the use of the public sector? Because we don't really have a lot of youth in the public sector. We have more of age in the public sector. So are you trying to eliminate the use of that sector completely?
No, I don't think eliminating the youth completely from the public sector is the issue. What I'm trying to say is that we want to develop a system in cross industry where people will not be waiting for white collar jobs when they are not attending. That is what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that people are not going to do white collar jobs, like public service jobs. Suddenly there are people that love doing that, and suddenly they will do that. But what I'm trying to say is that today, okay, let's look at the scenario today. How many persons are employed by Portugal State government? How many youth are on the street looking for what to do? And all of them are waiting for somebody to retire. And okay, let's look at it. You graduate at 20, and by 28 you now got a job. You're waiting for somebody to retire, maybe you get to 35 when the person retires. And how the employment age in public service? What is it? They say in public service they don't employ you beyond 30 years old. So with these, will you be able to have access to the job while waiting for retirement so that you can be able to take over? The basic thing is that we want to take this notion of public service out of the minds of young people. We want young people to be creative, young people to be able to create things and do things for themselves so they can do it for them. So I think that the people that are in the public service that will have opportunity of working in the public service will be there. But everybody cannot work in the public service. That's why we cry about unemployment. It's not that there is unemployment. There are people already employed in the public service, but there is no more space to employ more persons. So other persons that are left are supposed to have something handy to do that they can make a living from. And I strongly believe that that is more better than public service. Let's look at it. Let's look at an ordinary organizer. He makes 4,000 naira every day. Can you calculate 4,000 naira times 31 or 21 days? How much is a public servant's salary? Level 9, level 10, level 12. Ask how much their salaries are. Not beyond 60,000 to 70,000. And this is a man you call doing an ordinary street job, making 100 and 120,000 in 1 month. So what are we talking about? So we think we need to change our narrative and then change our mindset towards what we call employment. Employment begins and ends with what you make and put into your pocket, genuinely, and that is what we call employment. So we're not going to say people are not going to do public service. We want to change the notion of young people. We could be able to go into science and technology to have people, young people that are very, very innovative. I have a power bank, like I always say, that was built at UNICAL Radio just this morning, and that's the power bank I use. If you see it, you feel it was built in China. We can be able to put people to do this. And how much is that power bank going for? And the young man that built it is still there at UNICAL Radio. He does not even have a shade. He's sitting under an umbrella. We can create an environment and expose him to more. He could do more than what he has done. So I think he also could employ more. He could also create jobs for others. I think that's where we're coming from.
Alright guys, so we'll be opening up the phone lines now. The number is 080-944-44059. I'll take the number again, 080-944-44059. If you cannot call in, you can send us a message on our WhatsApp or on your social media handles. I will be more than ready to answer your question. Okay, sir. So you basically spoke about youth now. Yes, we know that youth are the new revolution. There's something we call the youth revolution. But I don't think you've touched any other aspect. Yeah. Like we have the agricultural sector, the tourism sector, the commerce sector, industry. You haven't actually spoken anything about it.
Yeah, you see, the basic thing is that when you're talking about touching agriculture, touching industrialization, touching similar aspects, sports and industry, all the good ideas we have just spoken about, we've not spoken about the video. I think everything we've spoken about touches most of it. Now look at it, job creation. Agriculture is one basic thing for me and looking at creating jobs for Russians. If you look at agriculture, let's look at the basic thing we have in Russian state, which is the value produce. It's one thing that we can create employment for over 20,000-30,000 young people, because it's young people that will do the job. The older people will always wait and want to get whatever they want to get. Then, if those persons that are in between the ages of 45 to 60 that are still strong and believe they need to do something, they could still get themselves employed, gainfully employed by themselves. Now, when we're looking at agriculture, agriculture is the mainstay. When I was showing up, I discovered that it was the mainstay of Nigerian economy. And I still think that it could survive Nigeria. and Cross River State specifically. Let's look at the example we always use. We look at palm fruit. Malaysia as a country lives on palm produce. But this palm produce, from what we discovered or what we heard, was gotten from Cross River State. A country like Malaysia living on palm fruit, then Cross River State that is the owner of the palm fruit has nothing to show for palm fruit. Some days back, I had an interaction with somebody in Ogun State, I think so. Precisely, and the man gave me one very good fact. He does refining of palm oil and he sells them on barrel. You know that palm oil in barrels is more expensive than crude oil in barrels, sold in the international market. So what are we killing ourselves for? Trying to look for white collar jobs when we have agriculture to develop, palm produce? Then we could look at the byproducts of palm produce. What can be done out of them? So I actually think the agriculture is not just for food security. It is just for people to also make a living out of it. Look at Cross River State. Today, if I find myself as a governor of Cross River State, no produce of Cross River State will leave Cross River State without being refined at least to the first stage. Because you know what? When you sell your product at the raw state, it has no value. When you process it, you add value to it. When I was in Yalaluku government, that's why I said that I had traversed Cross River State very well. Yalaluku government has some mango, they waste it. They have cashew, they waste it. Do you know what mango byproducts could do? You could get to a compound with see mangoes on the ground, look like 1,000, 2,000 wasted from the trees that had fallen. Today, those things will be harnessed. They will be used well. Look at oranges. Go to Ogoja, you find oranges. We need some companies to come here, get our oranges and squeeze them, refine them, and use them for their juice. Strongly, we could make so much money. It will not be just business as usual. So agric is a very, very integral part of our plan. We are strongly looking at so many things within the agricultural subsector. We're not looking at just doing window dressing or whatever. We're talking about involving people in strong and perfect mechanized farming, which will be able to put agri boards. When I was a young person, I could remember there was an intermediary between the farmers and the market, which were agri boards. And those agri boards added value to the farm produce that came, because the ordinary businessman that comes to buy will come to cheat the ordinary farmer. So the farm produce, or the boards then, would stand in between to be able to get those things and get value for their monies for them. Look at Cross River State today. Bananas. Most of the bananas eaten in Nigeria comes from Cross River State. Go to the Bokiba and the forest. You find them coming in from everywhere with trucks and trailers. And what do people Cross River State get? Is just standing on the road and getting haulage of 2,000, 5,000 naira. Is that what we are aiming for? I strongly think we need to go back to doing perfect planning for agriculture, because it can employ everybody in Cross River State. I mean everybody, and we will have people coming to Cross River State to have a job to do. So I think that agriculture is one basic end we are looking at. When you look at other sectors, you had mentioned industrialization. It is our road products and our MOUs that will be able to make us have industrialization in the 21st century. I don't believe that any government has anything to do with building industries. Even the federal government of Nigeria don't have the resources to do so. If they had, today, the NNPC and their refining stations would have been working. Now, what the government needs to do, create an enabling environment, provide the facilities and infrastructures that are needed, get the private sector to come in, and get a public-private sector partnership, and they will set up these companies. And the companies will strive so well. Let's look at Lagos State. How many Nigerians, how many Lagosians have built companies in Lagos State? How many state government of Lagos State there? You hear them build roads, you see them expand them, you see them want to get electricity to the locals. They want to put those things so that people will come and really build on that and create an environmental jobs. So what we need in Cross River State is not the window dressing we call we see today, and people are clapping their hands and saying that the government has built this, has done that. The government has done nothing. The days are coming when we will find the truth about them, that those companies have the real owners. And that is the truth about it, because the government don't have the finances to go into that. Because what the government needs to do in the today is to create an environment. There is security, correct. People will come to invest. Like, okay, let's look at young progressive party. Ordinarily today, presently, we've been able to make contact with a company in Germany, a brewing company in Germany, We discovered that Koshiwarians love so much of enjoyment. Every day I drive through Marian in the night and I say there's no money in Kama, but Marian is choked up, there's traffic, people will not sleep till about 2-3 a.m. And okay, let's look at festivities period in Koshiwari State. You discover that they'll say breweries have closed down because they brought all the drinks to Koshiwari State. Today, Koshiwari State deserves to own one. And not just owning one, have an indigenous brewery that will brew an indigenous drink. That is one of the programs we are doing on. And we decided to discuss with one of the brewing companies in Germany. And today, what they gave to us is exactly what I'm telling you. Give us an enabling environment. Let the place be safe. Let's have the required facilities we need around us. And then we are in there for good business. I strongly believe that we need to create an enabling environment, a business enabling environment, reduce our tax regime, and get people to do businesses. In Koshiwari State, every company I've left Koshiwari State because of the greed of the government and the greed of his, what I would call it, his supporters, which they give them opportunity of taxing people the way they want and putting those monies in their pocket. Because if FIR will be able to tell us that they account for every money that are collected in Koshiwari State, I strongly believe that we should be able to have so much money in Koshiwari State and be able to say that we've come to reduce the tax regime so that companies will survive in Koshiwari State. I think that's where we're coming from.
Okay, so when we're discussing anything, you spoke about youth, and you also made mention that I think about the aspect of women, the elderly, and children. So can you just give us a little touch up there? And now this last piece, we are still here on 103.5, the number 1 infotainment radio station. We are at the town hall, we were discussing about politics, and we're discussing with Coco Bassey, one of the gubernatorial candidates. You can call us in on 0094444059 or drop your messages on our WhatsApp number.
Okay, on the issue of women, I think women are one of those sets of people that we really consider because I strongly look at them as the most vulnerable, but they are the strongest and they have the number. Sincerely, when I go to places and people ask me why women are the good, I say there are people that own the strength and they hand it over to some person who come and take it and give to them. Strongly, if you look at the statistics, the data in Nigeria, women, the number of women goes beyond that which we have as men. But I think what we should be able to look at, how do we get women involved? We need to encourage them. We need to bring them in. We need to give them opportunities to sell. In Nigeria, we have women, we have experienced their abilities and they have done so marvelously well. Some are trading abroad today on behalf of Nigeria, and we also look at them and then we applaud them and say they've done better than men. People like Ngozi Iweala and the rest of them, they're doing wonderfully well. So we would give women so much priority in this government because it is a government which we feel that women are the best set of people that will be able to be dedicated to what they're doing. Men have so much of what do I look at some sort of bias. Sometimes men are more biased than women. And women will always be jittery when they're doing things. They want to save the people and make people appreciate their service. We want to bring women so much into the government. And when we're looking at the old people, you want to say that it has been one thing that bothers me. Sincerely, I want to say, sentimentally, I have to say this. My mom is still alive and she's about 86 years old. And she's an old woman. And she worked in the public service. Of course, she was. My mom was a teacher. And at the verge of this present administration in Washington State, about 6 years or 7 years back, 6 years plus, her name was removed from the pension list of Washington State. She's still alive till today. So I want to say that when we look at the old people, they deserve their due. So many today I discovered in Washington State right from 2014. People that left service, their pensions and their gratuities have not been paid. Then, what do we expect from them? So we need to look at the old people. Today, we should be able to have a free medical care for the old people, old and aged. We need to have free medical care for them. And most of these things have been provided by foreign aids. So why don't we have those things today in Cross River State? I strongly think that we believe in making generations that are before us also appreciate the new generation. That is what some of us believe, because we need to get them into the mainstream of our planning. We need to plan for them. We need to see how much we can keep them up. We wouldn't have a social fund which we can be able to be feeding them, because we wouldn't see what we don't want to do, because some politicians will come and say, look, we won't go around and give every agent woman or agent man 100,000 every month. We don't think we would have the capacity, because today, Cross River State is one of the poorest states in Nigeria. It's, I think, the fourth most indebted state in Nigeria. So we need to look at it internally and see how well we can be able to take Cross River State out of this position we found ourselves. So with this, we don't say we neglect the elderly, because we have international organizations that are funding most of these programs. We want to use it and pay our counterpart funding on time so that we can be able to have these services.
Okay, so let's take a question from one of our listeners. Good afternoon, UNICAL Radio. My name is Patient Ntui from Mary's Laser. Please, Mr. Coco Bassey, how do you intend to ensure that homegrown agricultural products do not leave Cross River without being defined?
Well, I think that she must have listened to me carefully, and I think that she must have accepted my position, because that is actually the true position of it. I think we have aligned our strategies, because this is one primary thing we have decided and designed. First, you can't get to the people to do a thing without educating them. We'll start from educating the people. We educate the farmers, primarily, that look, these your products are not going to live here at the first stage without being refined. You're selling not to the people now, you sell to the board. If you listen, I said we're going to set up boards, product board, but produce boards, where we'll be able to buy these things from the farmers, not at a giveaway, at prices that are very reasonable. When we have this control procedure, that we can have these produce boards that buys these things directly from the farmers, it's going to be a crime. It's going to be a crime to sell these things to people that are coming to buy out of Cross River State. But if it is something like cassava and the rest of the things, even the yam, which we're thinking about trying to refine it, yeah, but it's at a consuming rate you can sell to people that are going to eat it at home. But when you're selling it at commercial quantity to people that are going to take it out, it's going to be a crime. Sincerely, we need to make our people understand what their due is. First, we'll educate them. After educating them, the boards will always be there to engage them and buy from them at prices that are wonderful and good enough. And then, with that, we can then use the boards in assessing whoever is going to do the refund.
All right, so we have a caller. Let's take this call right now. Hello, good morning. Welcome to UNICAL Radio 103.5. Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. I think I need to be fair to myself. I want to say that you're right, I'm a man. But if we consider it, we put it on a scale, you will discover that men are so more personal than women. Women have control. But when men take their own decisions, they could stand on their decisions without somebody bending their decisions. Women are subservient to somebody's pressure to change their decision. The men could stand their grounds and say, look, what I want to do is what I want to do. But I think I am not abusing the fact that I'm a man. I'm a man, but I strongly believe that women are softer species that could be used. But I'm not saying we're going to throw out the men in totality, because the men would always be there to make the women strong. So I appreciate your position, but I'll tell you and assure you that men will make up the number, but we need to also introduce women into it. Thank you.
Okay, so one question. Presently, Cross River State does not have a website, not to talk of a digital data center. What's your plan to achieving this digital transformation for the state in this age of the fourth industrial revolution?
Well, I think you're just catching me, you're just at the point. You see, digitalization of the system, right from public service to everything, is just one busy thing that had been a drive in me. If we look at Cross River State, me as my campaign organization, I have a website. I want to start from myself. My campaign organization has a website that you can log in and see things about me. As a person, you know about my party, you know what we've been doing, and we're still updating it as we're going along. That shows you that I am into infotech, but I'm not a professional, but I love it so much. Now, when we look at the database, you cannot have a better society without having a database. It's like Nigeria is trying to push for the census exercise. They're doing that, believing that they want the data so that they could be able to plan for the people and plan for the society. Strongly, I think data is one of the best things to happen to Cross River State. And I want to say that we are going to have a standard data center. We're going to have a standard data center where we'll be able to have dead records, we'll have people moving into Cross River State and moving out. We will be able to have data of vehicles available in Cross River State. We would also have data of vehicle plate numbers. When I drive around with my friends, sometimes I tell them, these are the innovations I think I need to bring to Cross River State. And when we look at it, even in the hospitals, the data system in the hospital is rubbish. Computerization of the hospitals in today we don't even have. I think we need to have a center where we don't need to get from come to Calabar to come and get the patient's folder. A click on the system with the patient's number, you get his information and you treat him. Before you drive from Become to Calabar to get the folder to check his medical records, the patient had died. So why don't we do this? It's very simple. People say when you computerize the system, people lose their jobs. It's a lie. I don't believe in that. The computers cannot do the jobs of people. Strongly, people must operate those computers. And I want to say that they say, what of the person that carries the fire? The person that carries the fire should be able to be brought in to do something better than just carrying a fire. So I think that computerization and the digitalization of Cross River State is one basic thing I would want to do. I don't treat away leaders that try to do things, because if Cross River State had lived on a continuous leadership cycle, I think Cross River State would have done far better than this. In 1999, somebody came to Cross River State and started something close to this, though he never completed it. I strongly believe that the successive government should have been able to build on that. And
so do you believe in continuity?
Serious. People play politics with public properties or public policies. I don't play politics with public policies. I believe strongly that there is continuity. Let's look at ITM in Uganda. I don't know if you've ever been to Uganda, and you've seen the edifice that was built by His Excellency Senator Lee Elimoke. That is a place where we should house our technology. It's a technological-based institution, which we have there. And the place has rot away. Not meaning that the government that came, the successive government that came, they said he single-handedly picked who took over from him. But he had abandoned that property. And that thing had decayed. And you know how much have been invested in it. Let's look at the Tenapa and the resort. What had happened to them? Is it not a waste of Cross River State? It is a basic colossal waste. Let's look at the library complex. Is it politics that cost Cross River State? We're asking people to go to school. But in the library, when we have professors, two professors in Cross River State, the governor and the deputy governor, and that place is like that. I think it's an eyesore. I strongly believe that if we need to sustain Cross River State is not as rich as other states. Let's look at it from this perspective. Although we have decided not to, because when we see what we need to do, we don't do it. Our people keep following what is not right.
Sir, please, let's just take this call.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay.
Well, I want to appreciate your question. You see, there's difference between privatization and government having people, private individuals come to invest in Cross River State. Like, let's use UNICEF as an example. You change from UNICEF to Lafarge and all those stuff. It is not a privatized company. It is a company established by a conglomerate of persons that have come to invest in Cross River State. Now, where you talk about privatization is where Cross River State would have a company like when we had Carl Semco, and then we'll call people and say, come, we can't manage it alone, come and manage it for us. And that is where we're talking about government building industries. Let me give us an example. There's a reason why some of us are saying this. We're saying this not because we just love to say it, but we're saying with facts. There have never been any government-built industry till this very day that is surviving on government management. You know why? Because people tend to see government thing as what is theirs, so they steal from it at every point. But I strongly think that we have come not just to privatize, but come to make sure that we commercialize the state. Commercializing it is allowing people come in and invest in Cross River State. We'll have perfect competition. Okay, let me give us an example. Like that UNICEF, that Lafarge I'm talking about. You know that there is another company that came into Cross River State to establish a cement factory, and it was fizzled out of the Cross River State because of the government of Cross River State, because of their innate and covert interest in Lafarge. So I actually think that when we open up the system for people to come and invest, because government don't have money to build those facilities, and government wouldn't be able to run those facilities as private investors run them. That is why when we hear our people talking about concessioning some of our industries, and ask, why did you think you want to build an industry when you don't know how to manage it? So we cannot be building industries and calling individuals to come and manage them. We're not talking about privatization here. Privatization is different from what we're talking about. We're talking about commercialization. We're commercializing Cross River State that people will come in and build, and will have a perfect competition, not have a monopoly of a few hands who would keep us at the verge of getting what they have at whatever rate they want to give to us.
All right, thank you very much for that. The show is almost coming to an end, so let me just ask you a question on a lighter note. What's your favorite book, author, movie, musician, or sport?
Well, if you want to look at sports, I think football is my best kind of sport.
So which team do you support?
I support Calabar Rovers. Yes, that's the basis. Sincerely, I want to be very sure. You see, I will not touch a lot of things I thought we would be able to touch. You see, I first watched the first match of Calabar Rovers in 1985. Then I was a kid. I was about 9 years old when I watched that match. That was Calabar Rovers versus Rangers of Enugu, the then Rangers of Enugu. And after then, I picked interest in football at that level. And I think I strongly believe that we have the best in Africa when it comes to sports and football particularly. We also intend in Young Progressives Party to make our sports very, very attractive in Cross River State. Very, very attractive. But we need to use that also in doing employment. Yeah, if you know how much a footballer earns as his income, playing in the Western League or whatever league he's playing in, we need to build young people and have one of the best academies where people will come and shop for players, get them, and then even our league, make our league very interesting. I stopped watching football. I'm not an ardent fan of football today, not because I hate football, but because we don't have a league. How will we leave that which is our own to go and patronize that which is Western? I strongly believe that that's where we have created a different, like I would say, a path in between us. We should be able to appreciate what we have, and we need to make that which we have to work for us.
Okay, thank you very much. So before we call it a wrap, you made mention that we've not touched something. Yeah. And yeah, after I asked you that question, I was going to do that. So let's take this. Speak to your audience. Tell them what you think you feel. Express yourself to them. Tell them why you feel they should vote for you. So let's just do that in the next few minutes before we call it.
Well, I think we need somebody that will stand up for the people. And that's why I think people need to vote for me. Because I'm just one person that is not individualistic in nature. I believe in standing up for people. Like I said, I came to the University of Calabar after a very long while. My antecedent speaks for me in the University of Calabar. I was a student here, and during my days of activism, I could remember, for those that hail from Cross River State, I should be able to say that I'm the last president in this institution who paid bursaries in Cross River State. That's 23 years back. I mean 21 years back. Let's say so. 21 years back. And it was not an easy task to get it done by government. And I had to stand tall, and I defended the students and made sure bursaries were paid. And strongly, if there is something Cross River State has as its right, and I'm sure I will stand up to see that Cross River State could get that. I want to say that I have had an experience where we could be able to tell people that we can stand up for Cross River State. As a young man, still as a student, I wouldn't go even to when I have grown to this level. We stood up to fight against the ceding of Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon, because we discovered that it was foul play. Today, the Society of Cross River State is hearing the truth. On social media, I read them and I laugh. I don't comment on them. I sit down and read them and I laugh. The people that plotted the sending of Bakassi Peninsula with our foreign allies are telling us the truth. It is on public domain. I was a student president who addressed Nigeria through the Radio Nigeria of then. Then the correspondent reporter was Oboko Nubayan. I addressed Federal Republic of Nigeria. And after that, my address to Federal Republic of Nigeria, I became a fugitive in my father's land. The government of Nigeria and the government of Cross River State were after me. I ran out of my house and I stayed in places until the issue got down. This is what I'm talking about. People who stand up for the people, and people that can stand up for what is right, even standing alone. That is what I can tell us. We wouldn't need people that come to tell us so much of the grammar, and we don't have anything to offer. We don't come to tell people that tell us things out of sentiment. We come from this tribe is supposed to produce governor, this tribe is supposed to bring. We don't believe in tribes. We believe in one Cross River State.
So you don't believe in rotational government?
I believe in it, but the fact is, when we're talking about like back to south, which is my constituency, when we're talking about back to south, yes, it is back to south based on the ideology of people's agreement. It is not statutory and it is not documented. I believe in it. It should be true that the South Central District should be given an opportunity to also rule. Okay, let me tell us something. Let's take us back to University of Calabar. Some of us were an advocate of the indigenization of Cross River State, the University of Calabar. I'm very sincere, and I will say to the public, we were the original architect of the indigenization of the University of Calabar. Why I call it indigenization is that the Vice Chancellor's position must be a prerogative of Cross River State. Let's ask ourselves the question, have we gotten it rotational? We haven't. We have not gotten it. But some of us were the progenitors of it. We fought for it as students. I can remember then Kelvin Ogoneta was the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar. And we stood up and said, look, we need to look at other states of the Federation have these. Let's see how it can work. Even the SUG presidency in University of Calabar, how did we make it a preserve of perseverance? It's because we also found that it was happening in other states of the Federation. When I finished my diploma program here, I went to the University of New York. I love public administration so much. I went to the University of New York to seek for admission through direct entry. But I want to shock you, but I'm not sentimental because I want to be very sincere, that I wasn't given admission. It was painful. But when I came back, I tried as much as possible to find admission in the University of Calabar, and they admitted me. And I had to do my program. Now, what I'm talking about is, when we talk about rotation in the system, have we followed it even in the university? Which some people fought for. But in Cross River State, when we're talking about governorship and rotation, we need to sit back and agree. If we need to document it, we document it. Because we need it. But when we talk about people using sentiment, my dear, I strongly believe that this is causing a very big divide in Cross River State today. The Ejagan people and the Efik people, they come from the same stock. But today, because of the politicians, brothers are fighting brothers, brothers are aiming at killing brothers because of the sentiment politicians are brought in. We need somebody that will unify Cross River State. Not somebody that is saying, I'm an Efik man, it should be my turn. That's what the man that says, an Ejagan man has never ruled Cross River State. It has been Ejagan, Bekwara, and Efik. and why a Niger government. So I think we need to go beyond that. We need to grow beyond that and see who can bring cross-river state together and bring the dividends of democracy to the people, not minding their tribe or where they come from. I think that is where I want to end.
All right, thank you. If we go on and on, our time is far gone and spent. So this is UNICAL Town Hall Political Parley on your number 1 AU infotainment radio station in the city of Calabar, the only radio station in Nigeria for digital education transformation. Okay, so we've listened to Mr. Coco Bassey, and he's talked about why he feels you should vote him in the upcoming election. And we'll also be taking the next episode tomorrow, where we'll be meeting another governorship candidate or House Assembly member and discuss on why should we pick these people. I remain Michelle Field. You can go back to watch a recap of this program on our social media handles at UNICAL Radio International, UNICAL Radio, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even on YouTube. You can also send in your contributions to our phone line on 0094 4444059. 103.5, your AU infotainment radio station. Thank you, and stay tuned for the rest of the program.
UNICAL Radio International, Entertainment 360, Edutainment 360, Infotainment 360. We smile like that.